What's good, y'all? On today's video, I'm doing a review for Tyler, the Creator's new album, Igor. Y'all ready? It's lit.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B Kid. I'm back again with another review. But if this is your first time on my channel, please go ahead and consider subscribing. On this channel, I talk all things music and entertainment while keeping it real, but always trying to find the bright side of everything, alright? And after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you ring the bell so you can get the post notifications. So every time I upload a video, you won't miss it. Alright, y'all, so like I said, this is going to be a review of Tyler, the Creator's new album, Igor. This is the 5th album by Tyler, the Creator, and he released it on May 17, 2019 on Columbia Records and his own label, A Boy Is a Gun. This is the follow-up to Flower Boy, which came out back in 2017, and I was very late to that album, but when I finally did check it out, I loved it, and it was also nominated for Best Rap Album at the Grammys, so it was a great project. So this is the follow-up to Flower Boy, and he pretty much produced it all by himself, which I love. I love seeing a young Nigerian man, just take hold of his destiny, just taking hold of his own shit. I think for the most part he produced it all by himself. He does have some feature artists, which I'll talk about later in the video, but all produced by himself. But yeah, man, enough talking, let's get into it. I'm gonna do a track by track review first, and then I'm gonna do a review of the album in general at the end. So you ready to get into it? Let's do it. Alright, y'all, so the album starts off with the track Igor's Theme, which was, to me, was really different, but really cool, really chill, cinematic, but swagged out and spacey intro and theme for the album. I thought it had really dope production, especially at the end of the track, and I really think it was a cool way for us to kind of get into the vibes of the album. And, Tyler was pretty much saying, listen, strap in, buckle up, and we about to ride out, and I want y'all to feel it, because this is about to be a whole journey. So I feel like this was a really cool way to open up the album and really get us ready for the vibes of for the album. So it was a really cool intro. Next up we have EARFQUAKE. EARFQUAKE to me is a really cool song that sounds like a typical mid-tempo or ballad that we might get from Pharrell these days, or even back in the day too. It just sounds like a typical nerd or Pharrell song. I love the homage, and the vocals on the hook to me, they're still a little bit creepy. You make my earthquake. The vocals are a little bit creepy to me, but there's still a vibe, and it just works. I'm not even mad at it. It just works, and I feel like it's definitely unique as hell. It's a really unique song. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really in love with Playboi Carti's feature in the song. I'm not really sure what's up with all the love for Playboi Carti from Tyler, the Creator, and Solange. I'm not really sure why everyone's loving him right now as a feature artist when he's just rambling on a song. But he was on it. It was cool, but I don't think it was really needed for the track. But the track was still good regardless. And as always, it's not Solange, Uncle Charlie can do no wrong as always. Charlie Wilson always comes on the track and just kills, especially when it's on a hip hop, R&B song. He always kills it. So Uncle Charlie did his thing, and I really like the metaphor in the song. Just talking about your love being an earthquake. I feel like it's really nice and sweet metaphor, and it's timeless as hell. So this is a really cool track. It's the main single for the album right now, and I'm cool with it. It's a really cool track. I rock with it. Alright, y'all, so next up is the track I Think. To me, this song was really cool. The production on this song was really different, but it's a vibe. I really feel like it's really out there. I love how the drums and the 808s are just hard as fuck, and it's marching and prodding along really hard, but then you mix it and contrast it with these really light and bright synths that just make the track come alive. So I really love that on the production side. I felt like it really made the track stand out for me. And also Solange was the feature on this track. I think she did a great job. I think her vibe was perfect for the track, and I love what she did with it. But I do wish her vibe and her vocal came through a little bit more. It seemed like she was a little bit subdued in the track. Maybe that was Tyler, the Creator's choice, but I really wish she came through in the track more, because I loved her presence on the track. But she still did a great job regardless. So I like this track. I really feel like I would have rather this been the current single for the album right now compared to EARFQUAKE. I know everyone loves EARFQUAKE, but I feel like this track is, to me, I feel like this is the track I'd rather have represent the album more than EARFQUAKE. But EARFQUAKE is still great. So that's just my opinion. But yeah, man, this track was cool. I love the vibe. I love Solange on it. It was just a cool track all around. Talking about, he's listen, I think I'm in love with you, whatever. So it was a really cute track. I really liked it. Okay, after we got the track I Think, where you talking about I think I'm in love with you, I think you're in love with me, all that cute lovey-dovey stuff. Then we get to the little interlude talking about this dude talking about how we always, I think it was Gerard Carmichael, talking about how we always run towards what we're trying to run away from. I thought that was such an interesting concept because it's very true. It's actually a very deep concept, and when I thought about it, I was like, it's kind of true. A lot of times the things that people think they're running away from is actually what they really do end up running towards, and in a very subconscious way sometimes. So that's just it was just a really deep idea and such a real idea, so I really appreciate the interlude for what it was. Alright y'all, next up we got the track Running Out of Time. This is a cool track to me. I really like the production and the breakdown parts of the song, and I really like the flow of the verses, so I like what Tyler did with the verses. Definitely wasn't a highlight for me, but it definitely was not a bad track. It was a really cool track, and I really liked what he was talking about on the song. It's talking about running out of time in a relationship to really maximize, you know, the love and whatever. And I really feel like this was the place in the album where like we see that the relationship is starting to have a downfall, and I feel like this was like the place where like the theme switched up in the album. Like he went from being really in love to kind of realize, okay, things are not as good as they were, or things are not as good as they seemed in this relationship, and kind of running out of time to really be the best we can be, and things are not kind of turning negative. So I feel like this is the point in the album where things kind of switched. So it was cool how it was like right in the middle of the album. But yeah, really cool track. I like what it was talking about. A lot of people can relate to the idea of running out of time in a relationship to really maximize the love and just be the best y'all can be. So it was a really cool track. Alright y'all, next up we got the track New Magic Wand. To me, New Magic Wand was an instant highlight. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm with this vibe, okay. I instantly loved the beat, and I just feel like it was one of my favorite like instant vibes on the album. Just the way it made me feel. I love how like aggressive it was, but it still was really smooth at the same time in a really weird way. And I really like the pause, like the long ass pause at the end of the song too. It came out of nowhere, but I loved it. Just this long ass pause, like, oh, and then we went right back into the song. It was really cool. But yeah, man, this track is really interesting because the boy Tyler Creator was sprung on this track. Like Tyler was sprung on this track. Talk about he trying to kill somebody, he trying to hurt somebody for the person that he's fucking with. It's just a lot going on this track, New Magic Wand, but I really fuck with the vibe. He's really trying to hurt someone for the person that he wants, and he's not playing games. So I liked how aggressive the song was. I liked the intention of it, the feeling of it. It was just really cool. I liked how it sounded. It's just a really cool track all around, and I really loved the vibe of I really loved the flow and the vibe of the verses at the end of the song. I loved what he was talking about. It was just a really cool verse talking about like, yeah, it's just really cool. So I really loved what he did with the verse at the end of the song. So to me, New Magic Wand was definitely a highlight and a standout for me. But let me know what y'all think. Alright y'all, next up we got the track A Boy Is a Gun, and to me this is probably one of the most interesting tracks off the album sonically and thematically. I feel like this is a track where Tyler the Creator is alluding to his bisexuality and, you know, obviously like attraction to guys, but if I'm wrong about that, my fault. And regardless, this track is still great, and at the end of the song he's still saying that he's the boy with a gun too. So you know, whether he's talking about himself or he's talking about another man, this is a really cool track thematically. Just talking about how boys are guns. I think it was like it was dedication to a movie or a line in a movie that was talking about how girls are guns or something like that. Like, so it was some type of reference to something from old Hollywood or the old music industry, but I'm not sure where it's from. But it's really cool concept, really cool vibe on the track. I really feel like what's the part I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I really love the line where he was like, let's see if you're gonna be around the God this time next year. I love that line. When I heard that line, I was just like, oh, that's a fly line, and I feel that completely. Like, that's gonna be a good IG caption. Like, that's gonna be a good IG caption for a lot of people. Like, let's see if you're gonna be around a God this time next year. I love that. That's real as shit. I feel like I can relate. Man, but I love that line. But I really like the vibe of this track. And I really like the bounce sample too. It really was a really great part of the track. It really lifted it up for me. But yeah, man, this song really gave me like older Kanye vibes. Like I said, with the bounce sample and just like the old jazz sample feel. I really like the vocal part that says like, don't shut me down. So I love that part of the song. It was just a really cool vibe all around. Like I said, I just think the concept of a boy being a gun is really cool. Talking about pretty much how, like, you know, a boy and all his like, you know, power, masculinity, you know, sexual nature, all that stuff will like shoot you down with his you know, with his shit. So really cool track, and I really like I said, I love how it all came together sonically. It was just a vibe. So definitely one of the most interesting tracks off the album, you know, for me. But let me know what y'all think. Next up, we got the track Puppet, where Tyler, the creator, is pretty much talking about, you know, in a relationship and in love, how sometimes when you're so sprung up somebody and you're so into somebody, you can become a puppet for them, or they can become a puppet, you know, a puppeteer for you, or whatever. So really cool track that we can a lot of us can relate to. I really loved the flow at the beginning of the song. On his verse at the beginning, it was really cool flow. I love what he did with it. The production on the song wasn't my favorite on the album. The production to me was really simple and it wasn't that engaging, but it wasn't bad, but it still was a vibe. But it wasn't my favorite production on the album. And Kanye was on the song for like 10 seconds. I appreciated Kanye's presence in the song, but I wish he had either just been fully relegated to the background, like his background vocals, or like just been pushed up to the front, like for like a full verse, you know, like a full thing. He was on the track for like 10 seconds and he dipped out. It just felt weird. I wish he had been either just like fully in the back, or like giving a full verse to like really be like, I'm Kanye and I'm here, you know. It felt weird to have him like kind of like in between, like he's like, am I here, am I not here? It was weird. But regardless of that, like I said, I still like the Kanye vibes on this track, and I really like the jazzy take on the production towards the end of the song too. I really like that. That was a highlight for me. I really like what he did with the jazz production at the end of the song. So yeah, man, not my favorite, but it was a cool track. Alright, next up we got the track What's Good. To me, this is somewhat of like not a filler track, but somewhat of like a bridge track between a lot of the early tracks and going into the last part of the album. To me, it was a highlight. I really loved the production on the song. I love the vibe of it. This is another really like aggressive song, but I really like the way it was like it all came together sonically. I love the verse at the beginning of the song. I love the way he snapped on that verse at the beginning, and I feel like it was just a great way to start the track off. And I also love like the funky disco production mixed with the boom bap throughout some parts of the song. But the main part of the song had this like really cool like industrial, like kind of rock hip hop sound that was really cool. I really loved it. So that's why to me it was a highlight and it stood out for me. But I really liked how the song was going back and forth between like I said, it always had the boom bap foundation, but it was going back and forth between like a disco funky vibe for a little bit, and then going into like an industrial rock sound that was really cool. So I really liked this track. It was aggressive. I like what it was talking about. I like the vibe of it. And like I said, it was a good track to transition between the earlier parts of the album where Tyler was sprung and in love and talking about, oh, I mean, I'm good, we happy and everything. And now we're going into the last part of the album, which is talking about the heartbreak and trying to get over somebody and going through all that bullshit. So really cool transition track. I really liked it. Next up, we got the track Gone Gone / Thank You. And so like I said, and we're not going into the part of the album where we're going through the heartbreak. So this track was pretty much like a really like I want to say a really cool breakup track. I'd say I really love the vocal sample that was like, my love's gone. I really like that part. That part's been stuck in my head for a while. My love's gone. I really like that sample because I feel like that vocal sample, like, to me, really like magnifies like the whole point of the album. And this pretty much just one big breakup album, and I feel like that part was just so resonant. My love's gone. I can do that shit all day and night. I love that part. But I really, like I said, I really feel like that vocal sample was just like a representation of like what this whole album is about in a really simple way. I really liked the verse at the end that was pretty much just talking about like the after effect of like not fucking with somebody no more. I don't know whether he's talking about a guy or a girl, regardless. I liked he was just talking about like how like he's not fucking with somebody no more, and like what it's like to go through that, and like how he feels about it, and like how angry he is, and what, you know, just all that type of stuff, like everything that you go through when you really love someone and you're not fucking with them no more, like all that mental shit. He really broke it down. A really cool verse at the end, talk about what he's gonna do and how he feels. Really cool verse at the end. He really snapped in that verse. But yeah, man, really cool song. And then we have a little transition in the middle before he goes into the second part of the song that was talking about like what was it talking about? It was talking about like the concept of like wasted potential, and I really thought that was really like very resonant and very real topic of like a lot of times when you date someone for a while, you love someone for a while, and it doesn't work out. It's like, damn, all that wasted potential, you know. I feel that. And then we go into the second part of the song called Thank You, which is a track I really appreciate. where he just talking about like saying like, you know, thank you to the person he was with, just thank you for all the stuff you gave me, thank you for our relationship, thank you for the time, thank you for the memories, thank you for all the good stuff you gave to me, even though we, you know, we're not fucking with each other no more, like thank you for all the good stuff. And I really love that, because a lot of times like a lot of people don't like to acknowledge like the good shit that relationship brought you, even if y'all don't work out. Like, you know, every relationship has so many good things, that's why y'all became a couple. But a lot of times when people break up, they act like, oh, we didn't have no good memories, we didn't have no good times. It's like, nah, y'all had great memories, y'all had great times, and acknowledge that and appreciate that and respect that. Even though y'all didn't work out, at least acknowledge the fact that this person gave you some good times, gave you some good memories, gave you some good things in your life that made you want to be with them, you know. So just be real about it. So I really like that he put that on wax. It was a great part of the song. I really loved what he was talking about. So that was a really cool track all around. I love how he split up into two parts as well. Next up, we got the track I Don't Love You Anymore, which is a really honest and real track. Everyone can relate to being in this space, you know, whether or not it's real for you or you're trying to pretend like you ain't. We can all relate to that feeling of realizing I'm no longer in love with you, or I'm not in love with this person no more. A lot of times we lie about it, but we can all relate to lying about it. Or if we're really not in love with this person anymore, we can relate to that feeling of like, damn, I'm really not in love with you anymore. So this is a really cool, real track. Coming off of the high of being in a really cool relationship, now we're going to the end of the album and he's like, yo, I don't love you no more. So this is a really cool track, like detailing all of that. To me, the verses could have came a little bit harder, and they could have came like more alive to me. I feel like the verses were just really like low key, kind of like boring. I feel like they could have came more alive. But I still love the lyrics on the song. Like the lyrics were great on this record, and I really love the soulful background vocals during the hook. I really feel like that was to me one of the best parts of the track. But yeah, like I said, I just wish Tyler, you know, came more alive with the verses, even though the lyrics were on point. But yeah, man, I really like the way this track ended out with like this like really like menacing and like eerie like synth at the end, and just kind of made everything sound really creepy. But I thought it was really cool because I feel like it brought it all together, and it brought it all back around to like, you know, you were on this high from a really cool relationship, and all of a sudden, boom, you'll love them more. So everything's like weird and creepy. So I really feel like that weird synth at the end was on point, and I feel like it just made everything come together. So this was a really cool track. And then the album ends off with the track Are We Still Friends, which to me was a really great way to end this album off thematically. You know, I love the sentiment of the track. It's real as fuck, just talking about like, listen, after a breakup, you still have love for someone, you still have respect for someone that you fucked with, and even though y'all broken up, sometimes a lot of people wonder like, are we still cool, are we still friends, can we still be cordial? Because I don't really want you out of my life, even though we don't need to date each other no more. So that's a real thing. A lot of people can relate to that. That's a real ass topic that a lot of people feel all the time. So I really, like I said, I really feel like this is a really cool and honest way to end this breakup album on an honest tip. Like, are we still friends? That's real life. A lot of people go through that. I really loved the soulful Al Green sample throughout the track. I really loved that. I really feel like it made it just feel like, you know, earthy, and just, it was really on point. So I love the way he used that Al Green sample. It was really soulful, really well used. And I also love the melody he chose for the hook, and the way he used his voice on the hook too. I really love that. And I also liked how he had Pharrell on the track too. Like I said, going back to how Pharrell influenced a lot of this album, I love how he actually had Pharrell on some of the vocals for this last track on the album. So yeah, man. I really like the vibe on this one. I liked how it has some like lazy vocals, and I also like the guitar solo that ended the track out. I thought it was a really cool way to end this album off in a really cool sonic note. So I really think this was a cool way to end off the album, and that's how it ended the album off. Ended like that. Alright, y'all, so that was my track by track review. Now for my general thoughts on the album. I thought this was a really adventurous, really creative, well-crafted album. I feel like this was just it was a really well-crafted like breakup / relationship album, and I really loved the way Tyler the Creator put it all together. I did feel like the project did have like a few dull moments, throughout it, whether it's like the production or just like, you know, the vibe or something. There were like a few dull moments for me, but besides those few dull moments, I really feel like this album was just very out there, very abstract, but it all came together, and it all just flowed very well. I really feel like this project was a really creatively and wonderfully like executed and arranged like classic, like, you know, relationship breakup album. This album was really on point, and I feel like this is just a really creative and like really wonderfully executed and well arranged and well well put together and well edited album that was like a dedication to relationships and to breakups and to the highs and lows of love that we all go through and that we all experience. But it was all through the eyes of Tyler, in his own world and in his own way and through his own vision, using his lingo and using his vibes as the musical foundation and the musical skeleton for the album. But he really made an album that just detailed what we all go through. So I really appreciate Tyler for that. This is not what I was expecting from Tyler, the Creator, in 2019. I kind of expected somewhat of like a part 2 to Flower Boy, if anything. But I really love how I feel like Tyler's letting us into his life. I'm not sure who it's about. We might have an idea, but I'm not gonna go there. But we might, we don't know who it's about, but you can just tell that he put a lot of love and thought into this album. It's executed well. The track listing is on point, like it flows very well. Every track makes sense as it's going into the next, and every track is touching on things, like I said, that we all relate to in the highs and lows of love. From the highest of highs being like, your love is my earthquake, I think I'm in love with you, I'm on a high right now, to the lowest of lows, which is like, listen, we're done, I feel like I'm your puppet, we're not working out no more, we need to break up, I don't love you anymore, but are we still friends? It's like this album really did detail like the cycles of relationship in a brilliant way, and a really cool, creative, abstract way that only Tyler could, through his own vision, through his own vibe, in his own brain, in his own mind. But I really feel like he put it out in a way that made sense for all of us, if that makes sense. So really cool album, guys. I like the way he put it together. The other thing I wanted to say, obviously, I wanted to mention the really clear and the really clear Pharrell and nerd influence that I felt on the album, that I appreciate. As someone who grew up on Pharrell and our nerds music and their production, I really love that this is kind of like a homage to their sound, and because really, like, Pharrell is one of his idols. So I'm glad he made an album really chronicling his love for his idol by really mimicking his sound but kind of putting his own spin on it. So I love how he really did that. He really did it in a really cool way. I feel like he didn't make the nerd and Pharrell influence too apparent, but it was there and it was subtle. But like I said, I like how he put his own spin on it. So I really appreciated that, because Pharrell and nerd are gods, so why not? What else could I say? I loved how he incorporated so many different sounds and vibes into this album. There were so many elements of like jazz, funk, even elements of rock too, and even low-key some gospel too. Like, there were so many elements that were squeezed in, but they were also subtle and they all worked very well. There were so many different vibes on this album, but for some reason it all just came together and it all sounded so consistent. So that's not easy to do, but he did it very well on this album. And I really like that I really like the direction he went into on this album. I like that he went in more of like a softer and like more like introspective and romantic direction for this album. He still has some aggressive moments on the album because he's Tyler, the Creator, but for the most part, this album was really spacey, vibed out, romantic, introspective, and just more chill and softer. And I really feel like it was a change of pace for Tyler, and I really appreciated what he did with it. For me, it's a really different album for him, but I think it's probably one of the best projects he's made. So it definitely paid off in the end. And I also loved how he really used his voice throughout the album. I think more than ever, he really used his voice in really cool, creative ways, whether like altering it, or also not only his voice, but also the voice of the other artists on the album too, whether it's Solange, Charlie Wilson, Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi Pharrell, whoever else. He really did a good job of like really making sure that he had a vision for how he wanted all the vocals to sound. A lot of it was really distorted and quirky, but it worked. So I love how he pushed his voice. I love how he pushed his singing voice. I feel like more than he ever has. And I really liked how he played around with his voice in different ways, whether that was just singing or, like I said, with the distortion and stuff like that. So I liked how he played with his vocals. It was really adventurous, this album, but like I said, it paid off because it was really all a vibe and it all came together. And I think that's pretty much all I gotta say about the album, guys. What else could I say? I think all the features were used well. I liked all the artists he had on the album. Like I said, I love how he pretty much wrote and produced it all himself. And I guess lastly, what could I say? Let's talk about the album cover. I'll leave it like that. I talked about the album, but let's talk about the album cover. I just want to, you know, take a moment to acknowledge this album cover. I feel like it's an amazing cover. I feel like this could be a future like iconic album cover. I just get that vibe. I love the pink with the black and monochrome vibe thing going on. I just love the way it looks. It's really cool. Like, he looks hella weird on this album cover, but it's cool. He's giving me like some like Grace Jones type vibes on this shit, but like in his own way. It's really cool. I like how the pink mixes with like the black and gray. So I just wanted to talk about the album cover. I think it's probably one of my favorite covers I've seen all year. I love the cover. But let me know what y'all think about the cover down below. Alright, y'all, so to wrap it up, I see my favorite tracks are probably gonna be IGOR'S Theme, EARFQUAKE, I Think, New Magic Wand, A Boy Is a Gun, What's Good, and Are We Still Friends. I think those are my favorite tracks in the album. And for my rating for the album, I was kind of going back and forth between a 4 and a 4.5, but I think I'm gonna settle on a 4 out of 5. For my rating for this album, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. But let me know what you think about my rating down below. Alright, y'all, but that was my review for Tyler the Creator's new album, Igor. I hope you enjoyed it. I gave y'all my track by track breakdown. I gave y'all my general review of the album, but now let me know what y'all thought about the album. Let me know if you thought the album was amazing, if you thought it was whack, if you thought it was alright. Let me know what your favorite and your least favorite tracks. You know, give me all your thoughts on the album down below, and I'll talk with you in the comments. Alright, appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, hit this video with a like, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. And like I always say, guys, live your best life, drink more water, stay woke, and if you're mad or sad, go listen to your favorite song and make you feel better, okay? Go listen to your favorite song. But this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, 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 no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, no, no. Relax just a little bit. You don't gotta worry, you can just have fun.